Hello, everyone. I've had a request to show what assignment 4 could possibly look like. So what I've done is actually put up a mock that I created if it were to be for an English Language Arts 30-2 novel study. Now, keep in mind that I threw this together. There's not a lot of information. There's a lot of placeholders, but what it'll show is one potential structure that you could use. Now, the reason I don't always love giving exemplars, specifically for a project like this, is because I'm not here to say this is the one and only way to do it. This is the way that I would do it because it works for me, the way my brain works, and the way I want to present the information. There's 28 people in this class, and I would expect to see 28 different kinds of assignments. Now, for this, I used Google Sites, thanks to many of you in the class who have done that. Not something I've used before. Normally, it would be something like Wix or Weebly. I found this to be a really great tool, fairly easy to use once I got the hang of it, so might be a good place to start. You'll see I've got a few tabs up here. So on my home page, where students would come to first, I have some general information. Welcome to the novel study, when we're starting it, and information that work in this class will be supplemented by this website. So I'm looking at something in more of a blended model. I've got a button right on the front, tells kids how to get started. The lesson is waiting. Right away, I have some objectives here covering the follow objectives, reading some stuff, writing some stuff, speaking, watching, and showing off some stuff. Now, again, I threw this together. Please don't use that sort of language. Here's some boring stuff here that kids probably don't want to read, but I am asking you to have. So the very specific learner outcomes for this particular project, I do want you to have that in there. As I indicate at the bottom here, this is not a real project. I just made it up as an example for this class. Can you imagine if this was the best I could do? Nice thing here, I've got some links available, so this would open up directly to the program of studies. Might be something you would certainly consider having. Now, as we go through the logistics of this, like I said, if we click on here, it will actually take us right into the introduction page. However, I've also made sure that I have that as one of the buttons right on the top. What I find, especially working with students, you should often have one or two ways for them to get something. Rather than try and guess, try and click around, make it as easy for as many students as you can. In the introduction, I talk about the 5 different lessons and how students will be using 10 different tech tools to create 5 projects within this larger project. So each lesson will have students using 2 different technical tools. Lesson 1, I've got Flickr, photos for sharing, Writer, writing for understanding. Lesson 2, 3, 4, 5, again, made this stuff up. I don't know that there is a thing called reviewer for peer review software or shower for ePortfolio. I just wanted to put some basic things in here so you would see that there's different tools we can use for communicating, for collaborating, and for presenting. To get started, click on Lesson at the top of the page. So you go into Lessons, hover over it, and you'll see that it's got 5 lessons as well as the conclusion. If I click right on Lessons, it will actually give you another way to find the different lessons. Now, I was playing around with the tool and saw I can actually embed a calendar, got some pictures in here. So I was really just exploring to see what sorts of media and interactive pieces I can have. Let's go into lesson 1, which is showing off your sweet technical skills. So in this lesson, you're going to blah, blah, blah. Here's where I might put an introductory video, maybe something I created myself, telling students everything they need to know about this lesson. Lesson is a great lesson. Here's what you need to do. You need to read it, love it, become it. How could I not Rickroll you all with a video of Rick Astley? This is an important part here. I want to make sure students have lots of choices, so they only need to pick one of these. Last unit, we learned about your learning styles, so make a wise choice about which project would work best for you. As always, like I say, if you have any questions, please let me know. So, for example, if this were a real project, a real 30-2 novel study, one of the assignments I would have, they might be a book cover. They might write a review, or they might turn the novel into a movie trailer. So those would be three different assignments using three different pieces of technology. And what I would include is instructions specifically for students on how to use them. What I've put here is something, again, I hadn't used before, but I can see a lot of potential for it. So this is Google Slides, which I created in a different application, in the Google Slides application. It let me insert this, and this could be part of the lesson. You have the chance you can actually make it large screen, and you can go through the slides. Slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. You can also go through smaller version. It's got lots of options in here. Now that you're done the lesson, don't forget to hand in the assignment. So I would want to have some specific way here that students would hand this in. If they're using something like Google Docs, they could send me the link. If it's in a LMS like Moodle or D2L, then students would be able to submit that right to the Dropbox. We'll just take another peek. Lesson number 2. Got it set up in a similar way. In this lesson, you're going to, here's an introductory video. Here's what to do. Next tools that we use, what if we did a photo assignment? I like my question here. Do you even know what a toss-away camera is? What if we created a shared photo locker? Could we collaborate with each other? So there's lots of different options, lots of different things that we could do here. Once this is done, you're ready to move to the next lesson. Lesson 3 may be actually asking the students to read their novel. You could use a tool to film yourself talking to yourself on film. What I would put here is an example of that. So students have some idea of what it is you're looking for. Again, put some slides in here. One thing we can also add as an attachment, I could actually put the rubric in here. What I like about that, and what's important for this project, is it makes it really clear what you, as the teacher, are looking for. Lesson 4, again, basic sort of information. You can see it's a similar format. By this point, students would be familiar with the way that you're doing things. Lesson 5, I was getting a little silly at this point, but again, just showing how you could have the information presented. After lesson 5 would be a conclusion and talking about next steps. So this is actually a Prezi I put together for English 30-2 students on how to prepare for the diploma exam. And finally, what I had in here was a digital exit slip, a little bit of a survey. You could use it to see how students are doing. So that would be a general outline for what your lesson would look like. One thing I have added in here that I wouldn't think you'd necessarily have when you give it to students is a talk about ADDIE and the self-evaluation. Now, this is important for the work that I'm asking you to do. The ADDIE process asks you to analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. For this project, we're really focusing on analyze, design, and develop. At the end, you're also going to have a self-evaluation. That is an important part of this project. You want to have 3 or 4 paragraphs talking about what you think you did and what you might try for next time. As always, any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks very much.